California is not a part of the Bible Belt, because trying to find a biblical community has been very, very difficult.
Okay, so our next topic is the importance of community. For those that don't know, Chelsea was my small group leader at my old church. She brought me into this world, I'm just kidding. But she really did teach me a lot in that group. And having that community really just helped me flourish and helped me learn more about the word and helped me dig deep into the things that I didn't know I needed to dig deep into. Because you said that you are in a new city. How has having that community been for you? And not just the faith community, but also just a community, just friendships and things like that.
To be honest with you, it was difficult at first. When I moved here to California, it literally was just me and my dog. And so I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends or family that were out here at the time. And I was just like, okay, God, and it was also pandemic time. So a lot of things were closed and nobody was really going out and things like that. And because I didn't know where to go, I really stayed in the house. And so it was very lonely for a couple of months, almost 5 or 6 months, to be honest with you. And it wasn't until I got into background acting out here is how I started to meet friends. It's a great way to meet friends for anyone who's interested. But I was able to meet people who lived out here, who were from here, who were able to, share with me different restaurants to try out, different places to go, different organizations and communities to be a part of. Here at my apartment, I was able to meet people as well, other residents. My apartment does a great job of putting on events for the residents. So during that time, I would go out and I would meet other residents, and that helped me to build relationships and build that community. So now I can say, I have a group of people who I enjoy hanging out with. We go out to different restaurants. We have parties here at my house, or, just different things. So that's always nice. And then from a spiritual perspective, I feel like God has actually called me to create community here, because trying to find a biblical community has been very, very difficult. For those that don't know, California is not a part of the Bible Belt. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a group or region of states that are very religious, high, they're high in religious beliefs, in the census or whatever. So Georgia is a part of that Bible Belt. Religion is a big thing, faith is a big thing, all of that. There are churches everywhere you go. Here in California, that's not the case. It's more so New Age and spiritualism and things like that. And so for me, that's very difficult because I don't ascribe to that, right? My faith is in Christianity, it's in Jesus. And so with that being said, God has called me to create that biblical community here. So thankfully, I have that experience from what I got in Georgia to be able to build that here. And so I've been able to start Bible studies, start small groups, and things like that for women here.
Oh, yay. Look at you being prepared for this. That's cool. Why do you think Christians should take community seriously?
I like that. I feel like Christians should take community seriously because, one, Jesus shows us the importance of community. Even though Jesus necessarily wasn't in the temple all the time, he wasn't isolated either. He didn't, go out and just be by himself and just do everything on his own. He had his disciples with him. He had men and even women with him that he built community with, that he spent time with, that he poured into. And they cared for him as well, right? There were times where he went to be alone with the Father, but Jesus shows us the importance and the beauty of community, even in the New Testament, right? The disciples, they had their community where they shared with one another. They did things for one another. They built things with one another, right? Community is important because we can't do anything alone. Anything that God may have called us to do and how we're supposed to live this life, we can't do it alone. How do you expect to be held accountable, like the scriptures teach us, if you're not in community? How do you expect to confess your sins one to another so that you may be healed, like the scriptures teach us, if you're not in community? Who are you going to confess to? Obviously we confess to the Lord, but there are some times where we need to confess to a brother or sister, hey, I messed up in this area. Hey, I'm struggling in this area. And us having that conversation with that other person, that allows them to come in and God to use them to encourage us, to give us wisdom, to give us correction, to do all of those things. And so we're a body, exactly like that. The scriptures tell us about being a body. How do you expect to be a body if you're just the head, or if you're just the body, I mean the chest, or you're just the arms, right? You need the fingers, you need the toes, you need the leg, you need everybody. So we have to have that community.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because I think, especially nowadays, everyone's so like individualistic, like just do your own thing in my own lane, not going to tell anybody what I'm doing. But sometimes you need those
Mm-hmm.
people so they can pray for you, so they can, like you said, give wisdom, all that kind of stuff. So I definitely agree with you. And also, I think you can build more with more people rather than it's just you. So yeah, I definitely agree with that statement. You're very good at building community. So how can someone also build like-minded communities and cultivate that environment for themselves?
That's a really great question. The first thing I think of is putting yourself out there, right? In order to build community, you have to be a people person. And I think in today's time, we've kind of focused so much on being an introvert or being an extrovert, to where it's like, okay, now we've like taken on this identity. So we feel like, okay, I can't go out and talk to one person and get to know one person, right? Like, I think when you build community, don't think of, okay, I have to get on a stage and tell everybody, like, hey guys, I want to have a big group, like, come on together. No, it doesn't have to be that. You can literally go to one person that you see while you're out and start up a conversation and say, hi, my name is, how are you today? From that conversation, oh, where are you from? What do you like to do? Oh, okay, me too. That's how you build community. You know what I'm saying? It's literally one conversation with one conversation. And Jesus shows us that when he picked the disciples. He didn't literally go to a big old group of people and say, hey, you know, I want all y'all. No, he went to one person at a time, two people at a time, and he started to build that community. And from there, those people then went out and got more people. And then there were times when all of them together went out and got more people. So building that community, one, start off with getting to know people, being a people person, building relationships with people. Also, prayer. Like, I'm a prayer person. Like, I love to pray. I'm an intercessor by heart. So it's like I'm always praying for people. I'm praying for others. I'm not just always thinking about myself and what I have going on. I'm praying for those around me. I'm praying for my city. I'm praying for my state. I'm praying for my family. I'm praying for my friends. When we are praying, we're inviting God into the situation. We're softening our hearts to people, to their situations, to what they may be going through. So when we go out and about and we come across people who are in situations that we are not in or that we have never experienced, we come in with compassion. We come in with love. We come in with empathy. We come in with understanding. And that's how we build relationships with people, right? We come in with sensitivity to other people's needs. So all of those things are important in building that community, and asking God, like, Lord, what does this community look like? What do you want it to look like? Right? Do you want me to just have women in my group? Do you want it to be co-ed? Do you want me to partner with somebody? Do you want it to be at my house, or do you want it to be at a coffee shop? Like, all of these things are important because we never know why God may have us do it at a coffee shop versus our house, right? He could tell you to do it at a coffee shop because there's going to be someone that comes in on October 1st, 2022 at that coffee shop that needs to hear what you're talking about on that day, right? But if you're by yourself at home just chilling and you're not seeking the Lord, you're not praying about building this community, you're going to miss the opportunity for God to bring in souls into the kingdom and do all of those things. So that, to me, that's how I would start with building community. It's praying, getting out there to meet people, build relationships, and allowing the Lord to show you what community will look like, and being authentic. I would say the last thing is being authentic. Don't try to fit a mold because of what you've seen done or what people say you should do.
Yeah.
I've done that before, and it doesn't work. I'm much rather content with being authentic to who I am, how God has made me, the way in which I talk, the way in which I relate to people, because that's going to reach the people that God wants you to reach. And when you do that, like, you open the door for him to just do whatever he wants to do. You give him full reign and dominion to lead the group, to build the community, and to be glorified. Because at the end of the day, the community is for him to be glorified. It's not just for us to look cute and say, "Oh, I have a I have a community," you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's good advice. I like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic with Josh.